Yes, this is the biggest game in New Orleans Hornets franchise history. The Big Easy all revved up for Game 5 of this best-of-7 Western Conference semi-final series. The Hornets winning the first 2 games here in New Orleans. The Spurs winning both games in San Antonio, which brings us to tonight with the series even at 2. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with future Hall of Famer Reggie Miller will be joined in a moment by Craig Sager. Reggie, what do the Hornets have to do to get back to the outstanding play that we saw in games 1 and 2 here in New Orleans?
Well, head coach Byron Scott has a wish list, and at the top of that, he really wants to get Peja Stojakovic going early. 47 points in games 1 and 2, only 14 points in games 3 and 4. He talked about toughness, focus, desire, all the hustle elements to win ball games. And last, he wants them to share the basketball. In games 1 and 2, 45 assists. The event moved to San Antonio for games 3 and 4, only 27, Marv.
In contrast, the Spurs so effective in moving the ball in games 3 and 4 in San Antonio. Let's check out the McDonald's starting lineup. Spurs go with the red-hot Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili in the backcourt on the front line. Kurt Thomas, Tim Duncan, who bounced back with that huge game Sunday night, and Bruce Bowen at the other forward spot for the Hornets. The sensational Chris Paul with Mo Peterson at the guard. Up front, Tyson Chandler, David West, and Peja Stojakovic. New Orleans needing Peja to return to his form of the first 2 games of this series. The officiating crew, Joey Crawford in his 31st season, working with 2 other longtime officials, Joe DeRosa and Joe Forte. Ready for the opening tip in the conference semifinal series. The home team now 16-1 with that Cleveland win over Boston last night in Cleveland. And earlier tonight here on TNT, the Pistons wrapping up the Magic in 5, doing it at the Palace. And as usual, they are standing and will stand until the Hornets score their first field goal. The shot by Thomas blocked but recovered. And here's Duncan. Thomas with the rebound, so another possession for the Spurs. They reset. Parker played by Paul. West is on Duncan. Shot clock down to 5. And the ball deflected out, but the Spurs maintain possession.
Already, I like the intensity of the Hornets. Their closeout much quicker and faster in this Game 5 situation.
And Byron Scott kept telling his team in Game 4 they had no intensity. It was a lack of focus. And Joey Crawford indicating a foul. As Parker hit the floor, it's on Peterson.
Inadvertent trip on Peterson, and that inbounds play. Parker trying to come to the ball.
Byron Scott saying that he didn't feel his team responded on defense. He said we went back to our habit from earlier in the season. He's talking about the Hornets play in games 3 and 4.
Well, it's going to be interesting because if you listen to Greg Popovich, he just talks about it's all about shot selection and making shots for the San Antonio Spurs. They had the same shots in games 1 and 2 that they did in games 3 and
4. And the call is on Duncan.
And this is one thing head coach Byron Scott is going to try to do with Peja Stojakovic. Get him moving, having coming off screens. Right there, Bruce Bowen gets held, called for holding right there.
And as you can see, Greg Popovich staying with the matchup of Bowen on Stojakovic. Bowen called for the foul. Stojakovic looking to free himself up. Bad shot. And carries out of bounds.
Well, that falls right into Bruce Bowen's hands right there. You're going to have to take high-quality shots against Bruce Bowen. If you're going to take desperation shots like that, you're bailing out the defense.
Bowen is played by Peterson. Parker tried to run Paul off a pick. Shot clock down to 5. Thomas working hard for that shot. Here is Chandler. So we remain scoreless with nearly 2 minutes gone by.
Well, that's one more shot that he took in game 4 right there. Didn't even attempt a shot to look at the rim.
They double up on Duncan. Ginobili try to go to the step back. Good play by Stojakovic at the defensive end. Here's Duncan. We're kind of rooting for New Orleans to hit a shot so we can sit down. And West does just that. All right, everybody take a seat.
You said you spent extra time in the workout facility getting your legs ready just for this.
I'm ready. A lot of leg reps this afternoon so we can get up and down here at our broadcast location. Parker lost it. Here comes Paul with Ginobili back. Peterson off the wing for 3. Rebounded by Bowen. Byron Scott telling us that the Hornets have to treat tonight's Game 5 as a Game 7. He said if we lose tonight, they face possible elimination Thursday night in San Antonio. And that's the message he's trying to get across to his team. Spurs have won the last 11 straight playoff games at home. Ginobili from downtown.
Oh, when you're going to double down Tim Duncan, that's going to leave avenues and shooters open. Tim does a good job of splitting the double team. That was a bad double team. Ginobili with the 3.
West, who did not shoot well the other night, with his second field goal.
Isn't how funny when the scene shifts from home court to coming back on the road, how guys feel comfortable in their own building.
Well, the Hornets shot only 40% in Game 4. San Antonio at 51%. They led by as many as 27. They won by 20. Duncan looking to bank it on the hook.
Well, excellent job there by Chandler by not coming down, fouling, going straight up with Tim Duncan.
West with the fake. Here's Peterson for 3. The Hornets have hit 3 of the first 6. San Antonio just 1 for 7. And away from the ball, it's an offensive foul. It's on Thomas.
And Peterson had to be real careful that he didn't pick up his second foul on that. Kurt Thomas kind of out of control coming across the lane.
Parker went down. Offensive foul the other way. It's on Chandler.
And that is a silly foul if you're Byron Scott and Tyson Chandler, because he is going to have to play the bulk of the minutes as Tony Parker continues to stay down. This is a silly play. There's no need for you to set a screen on Tony Parker, and it looks like he's just standing still. It's really not his fault. I'm not necessarily if that's a good call or not, because Tony Parker should be upset at Tim Duncan for Tim Duncan not communicating that Chandler is there.
Fabricio Alberto has come on for Kurt Thomas. Alberto played very well the other night, did a good job against West. Duncan. West tipping it to Paul. Paul gets into the lane, and he is fouled. But Paul will shoot 2. Alberto coming over committed the personal. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Mark, the Hornets were a little late taking the floor tonight. They usually come out with 17 minutes to go on the clock. I asked some of the players why, and they said we were watching movies. Byron Scott had put together some clips from the movie Remember the Titans. The message was we're in for a battle. We have to stay together. We can't fight each other, and we have to be victorious. Then there was a short clip from the movie Rudy. I asked what they got out of that. They said nothing, because when Rudy started talking to the janitor, portrayed by Charles S. Dutton, they all said it looked like Bonzi Wells. They all started laughing. They didn't get any message out of that one.
Very similar to Craig's pregame preparation. We caught him watching episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants, which he says gets him ready, psychs him up. Wet spot on the floor being taken care of. San Antonio just 1 for their first 8. Duncan has missed his first 4 shots. Tim Duncan coming off an excellent game, a healthy Tim Duncan, we should mentioned, slowed by a fever over the first 3 games. 10 of 13, 22 points, 15 rebounds the other night, along with 4 blocked shots for Duncan.
We talked about the changes that Greg Popovich made in games 3 and 4, taking Bruce Bowen off of Chris Paul, inserting him on Peja, allowing Chris Paul really free reign in games 3 and 4, but they locked everyone else down.
And the feeling is that Paul's going to get his points anyway, so you might as well have he and Parker go head-to-head, and that certainly worked in games 3 and 4 in San Antonio.
And Tony Parker has been up to the challenge, and imagine him almost point for point.
Ginobili with the fake. Back tap by Alberto. Now Duncan played by Chandler with help. Parker had it knocked aside.
Calling for a travel here.
Oh, it's a foul. Ginobili fouled on the act of attempting a 3. The foul on West. So Manu Ginobili will go to the line for 3 free throws.
Well, you got to remember in game 3 when Bonzi Wells fouled Manu Ginobili from behind the arc, and you never want to foul jump shooters, especially 3-point shooters like Manu Ginobili is. Just get a hand up contest. A little too aggressive there.
Manu coming up with big games in San Antonio. Game 4, 15 points, 8 assists. Earlier in the series, playing through that jammed left ankle. And it has certainly had its effect, although Manu kept saying, "No, I'm fine, no problem."
Well, you got to remember in game 3 when he and Parker both had 31 points, and spoke with Byron Scott. He felt that they were 32 of 42 point paints came from their 2 guards. Got to keep them out of the middle.
West, well, he's had the touch here in the early going. He's hit all 3 of his shots. The Hornets with an 11-6 lead. This is game 5 of the best of 7 series, even at 2. Bowen, yes, he drills it from 2-point range.
A rare 2-point shot for Bruce Bowen, who's notoriously known for knocking down the long 3-point shots in the corner.
Remember, the Hornets so effective here at home. They've won 17 of their last 18 in New Orleans. West again. The one loss in that home stretch, April 8th. In an unusual low-scoring game, they were beaten by Utah 77-66. Greg Popovich takes a timeout. The Hornets with a 13-8 lead. Just under 6 to go here in the first quarter. Good start by the Hornets, while the Spurs have struggled 2 of 10 from the field. Always activity on Bourbon Street here in the Crescent City. We're at the New Orleans Arena, the usual capacity crowd, better than 18,000 on hand. And right here, time for the Gatorade Around the Cooler report. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, thanks, Marv. Like another great player sitting next to you, Chris Paul has a pregame routine that he follows religiously. Nearly 3 hours before tip, he is the first to take the floor, where the focus and concentration intensifies. He goes to different spots on the floor, makes 7 shots in different situations, coming off screens, pick and pop, catch and shoot. Then he goes and makes 10 free throws in a row, and then a shot from the three-pointer in the corner. 151 makes he has to have before he goes back into the locker room. A great work ethic from a terrific young player that can be appreciated from those of all generations.
All right, thank you, Craig. Did you do this every game?
Every game, and I somewhat adopted mine from Larry Bird, watching tape of him and how he arrived before games when I was in college watching the Celtics. And I just like to get there early and smell the gym. And another thing that kind of messed me up, I didn't like when players were out there, because when they were shooting, they would hit your ball and that would throw your rhythm off. So that was another reason why I came early. Parker knocks down a rare 3-pointer.
The nerve of teammates and players from other teams to come out while you were on the court.
How dare they? One of them, my former teammates, being here, and Jonathan Bender.
That's Jonathan, a native of New Orleans, sitting across the way. There's West. West, with his first miss, he knocked down his previous 4 shots. 13-11 Hornets, 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Duncan off balance. He thought he was fouled. How about the Hornets? 5 field goals, 5 assists on the 5 field goals. 4 of those 5 assists for Chris Paul, as Paul got picked off by Ginobili. Game 4. Overall, the Hornets had only 12 assists. Here's Bowen open for 3.
We talked about that is his favorite shot, that corner 3, and he understands if he runs there, as much as they're going to double Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, he can get wide open shots in that short corner.
Bruce Bowen has had an excellent series at both ends. Remember, hit the 5 3-pointers in the first half of Game 1. Stojakovic just looking to get a shot off. And the hop is handled by Parker. Parker tried to use the pick. Nice pass. Duncan had it slapped away. Here comes Paul. Putting moves on Parker. Peterson for 3. The tip missed by West. Rebound Paul. Shoots over Duncan.
Hornets are getting pretty good looks at the basket. He's not able to convert.
And the Spurs opened up only 2 of 10. Oh, Bowen off the dribble. You rarely see that kind of penetration. And the Hornets just look at each other as if to say, what happened here?
Well, they're shocked because that was Bruce Bowen taking the ball off the dribble.
And a foul is called. It's on Chandler. Offensive foul, so that's 2 on Chandler.
And why is that big? Because we spoke with head coach Byron Scott, and he was hoping that maybe he could only have 1 foul going into the second half so they could single coverage Tim Duncan in that second half, and they wouldn't have to get caught in all this scrambling. Now Chandler's on the bench with 2 fouls.
Melvin Eli coming on. Dinero Pargo has checked in. Here's Thomas, who just came back. Rebounded by Eli. And Eli spent part of last season with the Spurs. San Antonio by 3 with just under 3 to go in this opening quarter. Now West played by Thomas. Blocked by Thomas. Paul tried to pick up a charge. Here's Parker all the way. It counts and the foul. What a move by Parker. Although Paul and this crowd felt that there should have been an offensive foul, back the other way.
How about Tony Parker? The concentration it takes right here. Gets the outlet pass, takes a hit from Chris Paul, gets down the middle. Melvin Eli coming from behind, trying to grab the ball. Parker with the and 1.
Am I right or wrong? They should have been talking to him, letting him know a pick was coming. My man is just standing there.
I can't hear nothing anyway.
And Byron Scott is absolutely right, because all Tyson Chandler is doing is just standing there. If Tony Parker has a complaint, it should be with Tim Duncan. This causes Tyson Chandler to pick up 1 of his 2 fouls, and now he's on the bench.
Meanwhile, San Antonio with a 10-0 run. The Hornets have missed their last 6 shots after the good start. Spurs 5 for 7 from the field, and they actually started out 1 of 9. And now San Antonio up by 6.
Oh, they got a 6-point lead with Tim Duncan going 0 for 5 in this first quarter.
West gets the step. David West off the fake, beating Thomas. He is 5 of 7. He has 10 of the Hornets' 15 points.
Well, talking with Byron Scott, he said he could look at the mental focus of David West. He wasn't talking to a lot of people after games 3 and 4, and he understands the frustration of getting beat like that. He was going to be mentally ready for this game.
David West only 4-15 from the field the other night. Here is Ginobili, rebounded by Pargo.
2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 2 minutes.
Eli sets the pick. Paul, he's been off.
But they're going to give him that shot. He needs to be trying to get into the lane, trying to create something not only for himself but his teammates. He can't settle.
Eli trying to pick up the foul on Parker. Thomas. Rebounded by Stojakovic. Here's Paul. Looked like he wanted to go the lane, but Thomas in his path. West. Great body control by David West. Oh, and Alberto took a shot.
And this started at the previous end on the rebound between Alberto and Ely. Right here, the shot gets in there by David West. And then there's a tangle up between
Melvin Ely coming together with Fabricio Alberto. Joey Crawford handling the call, says technical foul.
He might be calling a double technical.
So double personal fouls and double technicals on Eli and Alberto. That's unusual. Usually it's one or the other. Or I could see in that situation a double technical, but why the double personal?
Second in for your Hornets, number 24, Monty.
The officials are trying to clean this up so it doesn't get out of hand early on.
But apparently that's the call. Now Bonzi Wells comes on for the Hornets.
Trying to find some kind of spark. Either it's Bonzi Wells, Gennaro Pargo, something coming off the bench for the Hornets. Non-existence in games 3 and 4.
Parker pitches back out to Thomas. Again, an open look, and he knocks it down. Kurt Thomas over the years has had a very effective medium-range jump shot. Final minute, first quarter. Spurs up 21-17. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, and Craig Sager were in New Orleans. Game 5 of the best of 7. Here's West. He's on fire.
Yes, he is.
14 points for West. 7 of 9 shooting. 14 of the 19 Hornet points. Parker draws the double. Michael Finley, who just came on. Shot clock down to 2. Finley has to force it and hits. Goes glass with a fling. He had a foot on the line, so it's a 2-pointer.
I think he called that. Do you think he called that?
Michael Finley was just hoping to hit the rim, I think. Michael Finley, who comes off a good shooting game, 5 of 7, hit a couple of threes, 12 points in San Antonio on Sunday. And away from the ball, a foul is called. The Spurs had a foul to give. Foul on Finley. Hornets also have a foul to give, and here comes Robert Horry off the bench. So Robert Horry in his 238th playoff game, and now passes by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most in NBA history. And off the inbounds, we get a whistle, and a foul is called. It is on Horry. That puts the Spurs over the limit, and Eli will go to the line.
Hacker Eli?
Well, apparently.
Okay. I mean, you just don't want to give teams points.
Well, Eli is during the season, 55%, 32 of 58. And the hacker, whoever, has not worked for San Antonio because Tyson Chandler has been purposely fouled on a couple of occasions, and he's hit his free throws. Yeah. Now the rookie from Kansas, Julian Wright, sent on by Byron Scott for David West, who sits down following a terrific first quarter. 7 of 9 from the field, 14 points and 5 rebounds. You talked about how upset West was with his play the other day. In fact, he said, I don't think we even tried in game 4. How can that happen?
And right now, Joey Crawford he gave both teams a delay of games, because on this free throw, wherever Tim Duncan sets up, you really want to have another rebounder on that side.
Well, Greg Popovich was looking for Eli to either miss both or miss one. If he misses one, Spurs have a chance of 2 points instead of 1. But Eli crosses up the Spurs by hitting on both. So final seconds of this first quarter. Parker is fouled, and they have that foul to give. Spurs will put it in play with 3.6 to go in this first quarter. For Pargo, that's his first. And Greg Popovich in a heated discussion with Joe Crawford, which gets the crowd going.
I hate to talk about conspiracies, but we know about Joey Crawford.
Here's Parker. What are you talking about? Conspiracies?
No conspiracies. I'm just saying there's a history here between
that's
these
an
two
Indiana
teams.
Pacer philosophy. You got to be kidding me.
You might be right. You absolutely might be right.
What are you talking about? Oh, we'll be back with more of Reggie's theories shortly. As this first quarter came to a close, Greg Popovich apparently upset. We're just assuming upset about the fact that the Spurs were called for a delay of game. He felt it's okay. Yes, the Hornets should have been, but not the Spurs. And he and Joey Crawford got into a discussion that began on the mild side and then became even more heated. And this led to a technical foul handed out by Joey Crawford on Greg Popovich. Harold Pargo hits the tee. And Reggie, as you know, there has been some history between the Spurs and...
That's what I meant before, history, not conspiracy.
Why conspiracy, though? I still don't get it. This was April of 2007. Spurs and Mavs, late third quarter, with Tim Duncan finding something humorous. Joey whistled him for 2 technicals, a minute 16 apart. Duncan ejected. 2 days later, the league suspended Crawford for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs and fined Tim Duncan $25,000. Second quarter is underway. The Spurs have a 1-point lead. Here's Wells on a post-up, and he's fouled by Ime Udoka. Udoka coming out at the start of this second quarter.
Udoka a little bit too aggressive on the defensive end, down low against Bonzi Wells. Bonzi Wells had pretty good history, especially when he was in Sacramento against these Spurs.
Yeah, he had that outstanding series.
Monster.
It was 2 years ago. He had 23 points, 12 rebounds against San Antonio. That was a first-round series. And Wells misses on both. David West, the high man for the Hornets, 14 points, 7 of 9 from the field. The rest of the team just 1 of 9 shooting in the first quarter. And now foul is called on the Hornets. Bruce Bowen, 3 of 3 from the field. He had 7 points. Foul is called on Wright. Spurs have Udoka, Finley, Bowen, Duncan, and Ginobili on the floor. Duncan played by Eli after Chandler picked up a second foul. Here's Finley eluding Pargo, and Pargo's on that long rebound. Here's Pargo putting a move on Finley. Pargo had not shot well the first 3 games of the series, but did show some signs in Game 4 in San Antonio. Here's it comes right. He had to change the shot met by Duncan.
And that's a rookie mistake right there. You've got to take it to Tim Duncan and at least try and dunk the basketball.
Bowen from downtown. Once again, from that right-hand corner, so he's 4 for 4. He has 10 points.
Transition defense was going to be paramount for both teams. If you get a missed shot or a turnover, you've got to get back on the defensive end.
Spurs have hit their first 4 from three-point land. Greg Popovich does not mind seeing the former Spur Melvin Ely taking outside shots. Duncan, try to go glass. Well, he's been off 0 for 6 from the field.
And they're doing a good job of bodying him down low.
Argo way off the mark, but it comes back to him. Wells with the open jumper. You hear the frustration in the crowd reaction. Hornets just 8 for 22. The Spurs just 9 for 24.
Popovich tightening his bench rotation. Tony Parker goes out. Ginobili moves to the point guard position.
Duncan was fouled. Will it count? Joe Crawford looking for help from Joe Forte, who says yes, the basket is good. Duncan's first of the night, and he'll go to the line. The foul on Eli, so that's a quick 3 on Melvin Ely.
Well, if you're going to come down and double team Tim Duncan, you've got to get there quick. And Wright gets there slow, but Eli cannot let him get into the middle there. You've got to wait for your help to come down quick.
Eli sits down. West returns. Tyson Chandler remains on the bench, so let's see what the matchup is with Duncan. He has West. Stojakovic is back there, and Wright on the front line.
Well, it's going to have to be David West, because right now Byron Scott going to the smaller team with 2 fouls on Eli and 3 fouls on Eli and 2 on Tyson Chandler.
Pargo for 3. Rebounded by Duncan. Ginobili around Wright and is fouled.
And do you see how Ginobili attacked the rim on that one, acting like he's going to go up and dunk it? And on the other end, Julian Wright is trying to shy away from the contact. This is how you attack the basket right here. Go up and act like you're going to dunk it, and you're going to get the foul.
Foul on Wells, his second. A reminder, national coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on TNT. Couple of Game 5s, Cavs and Celtics. The Jazz and the Lakers starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday on ESPN. Game 6 between the Hornets and Spurs. ABC will continue its playoff coverage Sunday, May 18th.
If you would ask Greg Popovich that they'd be up 7 points with Tim Duncan shooting 1 for 7 and struggling, you think he would take it in a Game 5 situation?
Here's West getting inside. 16 points for David West. He has been unstoppable. Hornets going with Chris Paul on the bench. Tony Parker about to check back in, as will Paul in a moment. Duncan, yes, so he's hit his last 2 shots. Duncan missing his first 6. 7-point San Antonio lead. Wright passing out of 3. Wright played well the first 2 games of the series. In fact, hit a couple of 3-pointers. Not the case, though, in the 2 games in San Antonio. And as Udoka makes his move, he's fouled. It was apparently, they say no foul. Timeout was called. And apparently, he may have stepped out of bounds. The Spurs coach is talking about it with the officials. And a timeout is called by San Antonio. A little laugh between Joey Crawford and
There's
Greg
no
Popovich.
love lost.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Let's take a look at our Bud Light Lime around the league. Now, despite back spasms that plagued him during Game 4 on Sunday, Kobe Bryant will play in Game 5 of the Jazz and Lakers series. That's tomorrow night at 10:30 right here on TNT. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins will have it for you. Back in game 4, Kobe scored 33 points, but shot only 13 of 33, just 1 of 10 from downtown. But the Lakers lost in overtime. So that is coming up tomorrow night. And then game 6 between San Antonio and New Orleans Thursday night on ESPN.
Well, he really struggled in that overtime section of the game, Kobe Bryant, but of course he's going to play, Marv. Is there a question that he wouldn't play?
I never had a question.
Oh, okay.
And it is ruled San Antonio ball. They were calling for timeout. The officials discussing it at the timeout. Shot clock to 5. 1 on the shot clock. Finley with a rainbow. Rebounded by West. And here's Paul, blocked from behind by Duncan. And the question is, who touched it last? Spurs felt that Paul deflected it out, but no, it'll be New Orleans ball.
Well, look at Chris Paul trying to put pressure on Tony Parker, and from behind, Tim Duncan gets his hand on the ball for the block.
Well, a friendly rim for Stojakovic. That's his first field goal. David West 8 for 10. The rest of the Hornets 2 of 17, including that bucket by Pedro. West got a piece of it. And they swing it. Bowen passed on a 3. Parker open for 3. Rebounded by Duncan. And pops it back out.
Yeah, I like how David West is playing Tim Duncan, and they're really not double teaming him right now. Play him straight up and give up that jump shot, but don't come early.
Duncan with a floater. Rebound Chandler. Tyson Chandler back playing with the 2 fouls. Here comes Paul. Hornets have done a good job when Paul penetrates. Foul is committed by Finley as Stojakovic tries to work his way out. Well, right at the end of the first quarter, while the officials were discussing whose ball it was to be, as you see first, Popovich and Joey Crawford.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, went at it, and there was a technical foul called. And just moments ago, I guess they've made up.
Can't we all just get along? Rodney King, he'd be very proud of that moment right there.
All is well between Joey and Pop. Ball is deflected out. Last touch by Stojakovic.
Tell you, Bruce Bowen is all over Pedro. He's not giving him any daylight. And the one basket he did make was a struggled hand-up contested shot.
And at the other end, Stojakovic guarding Bowen. Paul colliding with Thomas and a foul, and Paul upset. He felt that Thomas was on the move and should have picked up a foul. And things getting testy.
Well, there's no communication out here on the defensive end. You see the nice little curl move by Tony Parker. And where's the guy guarding Thomas and talking to Chris Paul? Chris Paul should be upset at Tyson Chandler.
And the foul was called on Bonzi Wells down low. Wells sits down, replaced by Mo Peterson. 6.5 remaining first half. Spurs up 31-26. They double up on Duncan. It's through the hands of Udoka. The ball back to New Orleans.
That was a very aggressive double team by the Hornets with Tyson Chandler coming over late with that length.
And that's the first San Antonio turnover in 10 minutes of play. West and Thomas battling on the wing, and Thomas called for the foul. That's his second. Kurt takes a long walk.
I understand what he is upset about, because that's a regular season called foul right there. That's not a playoff foul. Gotta let the guys play when they're down low.
Peterson. Duncan with another rebound. That's 8 rebounds for Duncan. Here comes Peterson on the double. Ginobili for 3. Rebounded by Chandler. And these are hard double teams we're seeing.
Yes, they are.
Paul. Yes, and it counts. Somehow Paul was able to find the opening. He will head to the line. The foul is called on Kurt Thomas. That's 3 on Thomas.
See what happens when you continue to attack the basket. He gets by Tony Parker. Thomas comes over late. He uses the control going to the line. Spurs up by 3.
Welcome back to New Orleans, Louisiana. This game 5 of the best of 7. Spurs with a 3-point lead. Straight over 5.5 to go in this first half. As we check around the arena, Charles Barkley's good friend Dwayne Wade is here. As is Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets. Recording artist Bow Wow. A favorite of our crew, Wendell Pierce of HBO's The Wire. And actor Isaiah Washington, formerly of Grey's Anatomy, regular at Hornet games here in New Orleans, doing a film with Forrest Whitaker.
We just saw quarterback Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, you spotted him in the crowd.
Drew Brees.
There's Drew. Paul not able to complete the 3-point play. That bucket off the drive a moment ago. His first field goal of the game. Just 1 of 5. He does have 6 assists. Udoka, who shot the ball well the last couple of games, hits the 3. How about San Antonio? From beyond that 3-point line, they've hit 5 of 7.
The Hornets in that zone, trying to match up with the Hornets. The Spurs do a good job of moving the ball around. Udoka does a good job of being patient.
Shot clock down to 5. Stojakovic. Fouled by Udoka. Stojakovic able to shed Udoka as he made that move to his left. Udoka felt that he did not make the contact, so Stojakovic to the line. Stojakovic so effective in games 1 and 2 here in New Orleans. Different story in San Antonio. 3 for 9, game 4, 2 for 7, and in game 3 you see the 22 and 25 points. He's hitting the 3, but ever since Bruce Bowen went up on the matchup against Stojakovic, it's been a different story. And now Udoka will sit down and Bowen checks in. Go to the expanded TNT Overtime on NBA.com and check out Reggie's Mailbag, presented by BlackBerry. And our Reggie Miller will answer all your questions, so long as they pertain to the NBA and TV production from hijinks. I didn't know that. TNT Overtime on NBA.com, where you can get TNT NBA Thursday 7 days a week. Hijinks, huh? Hijinks. Okay. Oh, you love that stuff. Ginobili's pass through the hands of Duncan, but played by Parker. Chandler jumping out. There's Ginobili from 3. Yes.
They have it. The Spurs have it going from downtown. They're just spreading out the Hornets and making that extra pass.
Paul setting things up. Chandler setting the screen. Stojakovic. He finally was able to get a jump shot off and hit over Bowen.
Well, he cleared a little space with a little jab through.
Duncan. Rebound. Chandler. Bowen down low, fronting on Stojakovic. Here comes Paul. And another rebound for Tim Duncan. That's number 10.
Well, if you look at the tone of this game, both teams not shooting particularly well. 39% for the Hornets. This is right up the Spurs alley.
Crowd wanted to travel on Parker off that trap, and a foul is called the other way. It's on Paul. That is his first. Both teams are now over the foul limit.
People here wanting a Tony Parker travel right here. He picks up the basketball, gets caught in the double team, and kind of looked like he shuffled his feet a little bit.
So Robert Horry will go to the line off the foul committed by Paul. And as we mentioned earlier, when Horry came in, it's his 238th playoff game. He's passed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most in NBA history. And that's an impressive list with Horry and Abdul-Jabbar, followed by Pippen and Shaq and Danny Ainge, Karl Malone, Magic.
On its own Byron Scott, all those playoff days with the Los Angeles Lakers. We had a couple in Indiana going deep into the playoffs.
Marv Albert with Reggie Miller and Craig Sager. We're in New Orleans. The Spurs with a 6-point lead. The red-hot David West this time is fouled. He was hacked. So West will head to the line. Foul is on Horry. That is his second. David West emerging this season, and Reggie took him several years to reach this level. The guy's come a long way. He averaged 3.8 points per game as a rookie, and that was 5 years ago. He is now an all-star.
Well, he was somewhat of a tweener when he came to the league. People didn't really know what position he was going to play at. He put on some weight. He didn't know if he was going to be a small forward or a power forward. He put on the weight. He worked on his mid-range game, and he's become a solid power forward for the Hornets.
A huge boxing fan. In fact, that's part of his workout throughout not only the season but the off season. Don't mess with David West.
One of those guys in the dark alley you want to walk down with him.
Dark alley. How about an alley that's well lit?
Either or. You want to walk down with him.
3 minutes to go in this first half. This time single cut out. Here comes Chandler. Bowen wide open for three. That's the first miss for Bowen. Hit his previous 4 shots. West. Yes. 20 points. 9 of 11 from the field for David West. And the Hornets are within 2. Horry setting the screen. Parker, oh, what a move. Put the brakes on, then cut left.
And Chandler came over not wanting to pick up that third foul. Kind of almost conceded that basket.
San Antonio by 4. West wide open. Rebounded by Bowen.
That might be 1 or 2 feet outside of his range. Just a little bit further than his comfort zone.
Hornets have not lost a playoff game here in New Orleans since back in 2003. That will count on the foul. The foul committed by Peterson. A circus shot by Manu Ginobili.
Well, that was a great pass by Robert Horry. The back-cutting Manu Ginobili. A nice pass by Horry. You see the back cut by Ginobili. Peterson just a second late.
It's time now for Looking Good Today, sponsored by Dockers. Well, the Hornets have quite a tie between their 2 stars, their 2 all-stars. David West, who played at Xavier, played for Skip Prosser. Skip Prosser very close to David West. Prosser then went on to coach Wake Forest, where he coached Chris Paul. Both players remain very close to the Prosser family. Skip Prosser passing away a year ago at the age of 56 after jogging. Meanwhile, another person that's very close to these is here also tonight, and that is Dino Gaudio. Dino Gaudio was an assistant for Skip Prosser, both at Xavier and Wake Forest. He recruited both players, and he is here tonight to cheer them on. Log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com for more Dockers Looking Good performances.
All right, thank you, Craig. Down to a minute and 49 left in this first half, and San Antonio looking to add to the lead. Ginobili at the line after hitting that reverse foul by Peterson, and completes the 3-point play. Manu with 13. He leads the Spurs. Bowen has 10. The offense for New Orleans has been David West, 9 of 12 shooting for 20 points. Chris Paul just 1 of 6, but he does have 8 assists. West down low working on Ori, finding Peterson for 3. Yes. Oh, Peterson with his second three-pointer.
Well, you're wondering, because both teams are not shooting the basketball particularly well, where is the discrepancy at? It's three-point shooting. Spurs 6 of 9 now. The Hornets 2 of 5. Paul comes up with the steal.
And Paul is fouled by Ori.
Foul number 25, Robert Ori.
And Chris Paul right here with the steal, trying to outrun Robert Ori.
Spurs over the limit.
That's number 3 on Ori. So Paul to the line. He's at 2 of 3. Right here, let's send it to Ernie Johnson back in our Atlanta studios. Ernie.
Thank you, Marv. Southwest Airlines game break coming up shortly. Magic, Charles, and Kenny will be here to break down the first half in New Orleans. We'll have highlights of the Magic and Pistons game 5. Detroit's going back to the Eastern Conference Finals again. And on Inside, all the highlights and post-game yapping. Now back to New Orleans. Take it away, Marv.
All right. Thank you, Ernie. Hilton Armstrong, second-year player out of the University of Connecticut, has come on for the first time. It's a 2-point game off the free throws by Paul with a minute left, first half. Another San Antonio turnover leading to this. Peterson cannot hit. West does. The game is tied.
It's all about tempo. Right now, trying to establish something going into halftime and the start of the third quarter. The Hornets raising their game.
Around their feet here at the New Orleans Arena. Ginobili makes the turn, and he draws the foul. Both teams are over the limit. So Ginobili will go back to the line. Foul on Peterson. That is his third. Ginobili 5 for 6 at the line. That ends a 7-0 run by the Hornets. There's Deniro Pargo for Lars Peterson. Peterson sitting down after hitting a couple of threes. .45-43 Spurs. Half minute left, first half. Paul behind the back, finding West. Armstrong is fouled, and he will head to the line. So Hilton Armstrong getting meaningful playing time. Saw action after the game was out of hand the other night in San Antonio, and came on and hit 4 or 5 from the field. He played the entire fourth quarter.
Well, he's active for a young player, and right now, because of the fouls to Eli and Tyson Chandler, he's going to get an opportunity to be on the floor. He just has to make those positive minutes.
Armstrong only a 62% free throw shooter during the regular season. That foul on Ori was number 4. We're down to 21 seconds left in the half. The San Antonio lead is 1. And the Spurs take a 20-second timeout. So we'll step away for a moment. San Antonio 45, New Orleans 44. We'll be right back. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich mapping out this final play with 21 seconds left in the half.
But if you're Tony Parker, you don't want to go too quickly. You definitely want to get the last shot of this half, but try to get into the lane. You've been fantastic from beyond the arc. You've got to be careful if you're the Hornets of collapsing and giving up a three-point shot.
So the Spurs looking to use the clock, come out of the backcourt. Down to 10 seconds. Here comes Parker, drives the lane, and is fouled. with 4 seconds left in the half.
And he took a shot right to the face by Pargo. And I don't know if it was the shot to the face by Pargo or him hitting the floor when he was coming down.
Remember, in the early moments, he was hit on the back.
And Tony Parker doing a little stutter step, getting into the paint right here.
Tony looking to shake it off. He's 1 for 1 at the line. He has 8 points in all. Tony coming off 8 for 12 performance, 21 points, 8 assists in Game 4 in San Antonio. Game 3 had that magnificent game as he matched Chris Paul bucket for bucket. 31 points, 11 assists.
Well, I think in this game they're doing a pretty good job of keeping Tony out of the lane, and obviously that falls on Chris Paul and Jannero Pargo, but you've got to keep a player like that out of the lane as much as possible because too many bad things are going to happen to you.
It's been a close first half throughout. San Antonio's led by as many as 7. New Orleans by 6. 4 seconds remaining in the half. West looking for help. Can't find anyone. And it's intercepted by Udoka. Udoka. And the Spurs cannot take advantage of the steal. At the half, here on the Big Easy, the Spurs 47 and the Hornets 44. David West 10 of 14 from the field. The rest of the Hornets just 5 of 23. And Manu Ginobili leading the way for the Spurs. 15 points, 5 assists. Let's go to Craig and Manu Ginobili.
Well, Manu, we've had double technicals. We had you guys trying to restrain your coach from getting another technical. A lot of rough fouls out here. Is this just typical of Game 5, or is this something new from the series?
No, it's something typical, I guess. We are in a Game 5. There's a lot of things on the line here, so we're all trying to give whatever it takes to get this win.
David West has got 10 of their 15 field goals. What do you guys have to do differently against him in the second half?
He's been unbelievable today, making tons of jumpers. We can live with the jumpers, but today he made them all. We control ball a little bit better, collapsing the paint, but he's just playing great, so we're probably going to have to blitz a little earlier.
All right, thanks, Manu. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be in our Atlanta studios where EJ, Kenny, Charles, and Magic will have the T-Mobile halftime report.
Hey, the New Orleans Hornets have to hope that history repeats itself. In the first 2 games of this series in New Orleans, San Antonio had the halftime lead. New Orleans blew them out in the second half. They trail 47-44 here in Game 5 in a 2-2 series. And in the East earlier tonight, the Detroit Pistons advanced to the conference finals for the 6th straight year. Welcome to the T-Mobile halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Magic Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. 47-44 the count. David West has been going crazy. 22-7, 10 of 14 shooting. But aside from him, he's had a great first half, Magic. Aside from him, it's been a struggle for the Hornets side offensively.
Yeah, well, you figured it was going to be because Page is still not hot or going right now. And then Chris Paul, he's playing a great game. Even though he's not shooting well, he's still distributing the ball well and keeping the tempo of the game up. What it's going to come down to me is what player will get hot. Is it going to be Tim Duncan, who's right now 2 for 11, or is it going to be Chris Paul? Because David West is going good. Ginobili is going good on the other side. Tony Parker's got, his points. What superstar, Tim Duncan or Chris Paul, gets going, that's the team who's going to win this game.
And you brought up both point guards in that discussion, and that brings us to Kenny's pictures of point guard play, which we have focused on, and everybody has in this series.
Well, you have, and the dynamic that I've focused on was getting into the lane, and which point guard has gotten to the lane to me has been the best. I thought Chris Paul has been one of the best making decisions all year, and that's probably why he was an MVP candidate more than anything else. But San Antonio Spurs can live with this, him shooting jump shots and not being aggressive off the screen. And Tony Parker said, you know what, I'm going to try to continue what I'm doing and back in San Antonio. So he sucks in the defense, and he gives Thomas right here a wide open, Kurt Thomas a wide open jumper. So Paul says, you know what, I got to get to the rim. I'm going to try to make something. But then he forgets that all these guys are open. He gets his shot blocked. And then the second time he says, you know what, I'm still got to get to the rim, but I got to create some havoc and create some space. He gets a three-point play here. But I think they'd be better suited still for him passing out of those situations. And this is the first time I've seen him have some questionable decisions all year. All year you watch him, you say, great decision. And then tonight you say, he wasn't really open.
You saw that circus shot. He hit his only field goal of the first half. He's just 1 out of 6 points and 8 assists. Tony Parker's got 10. Ginobili has 15 to lead San Antonio. The Spurs lead here by 3, Charles. What do we see in the next 24?
Well, if Chris Paul and David West don't get any help, you're going to see a San Antonio win. I'm not going to change from what I said. It's got Pager, Bunziwell, Pargo. Somebody's got to step up and help those two. Even Tyson Chandler. Hey, the Spurs going to get 3 guys who are going to score 20, basically. Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. But it's simple to me. Somebody on New Orleans has got to step up. You see West is playing fantastic. Chris has got 8 assists. He's playing well. But unless they get a third scorer, they are not going to win this game tonight.
There was a lot of talk in the off days about Peja Stojakovic, getting him more involved, getting him more into the flow. 4 shots in the first half. He hit 2 of them, did not attempt a three-pointer. And this is from the guy who's number 2 in the playoffs in three-point percentages.
It's because he got 2 guys at his jersey.
Yeah.
You see the way they're guarding him. They are guarding him. They're saying, you got no foot speed. I mean, normally any player in the NBA, because they're all good players, they never guard you like, we're not going to let you dribble. They're saying to Peja, you can't dribble around us. I mean, a couple of those plays, they were like, no, dribble if you can.
One of the best chess moves made by Greg Popovich in this series, taking Bowen off of Chris Paul, putting him on Peja Stojakovic. When we come back, highlights of the Magic and Pistons. Detroit, without their point guard, advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 6th straight year.
When we shoot 36% and we show up defensively to win the game, without our main guy, so definitely our leader. So to get these 2 games without him obviously is huge, and obviously it's more of an impact so he can get some rest.
Welcome to the T-Mobile Halftime Report. T-Mobile, official wireless services partner of the NBA.
Hi, I'm Kira Sedgwick, TNT's very own closer. All new episodes are coming in July, but first, back to the NBA playoffs on TNT.
How about your closer from earlier tonight?
I got to tell you, not just for the night, for the last 2 games, Rodney Stuckey, for a guy to start 2 playoff games, play well, they're 2-0. We're going to start calling Chauncey Billups Wally Pip.
Hey, you know what you don't see on that graphic? No turnovers for Rodney Stuckey tonight. Also, as he
I like that outfit Chauncey got on, too.
Well, and that's the important thing.
That's very important.
Rip Hamilton is going to find Tayshaun Prince early right here. Detroit had a 6-point lead at the half.
You never thought Detroit was in trouble, even when the game got to be a 1-point game.
Never felt like they were going to lose.
Come back. Yeah, he never did.
Magic had an 11-2 run to end the 3rd quarter.
Maybe the Magic never thought they'd going to win. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
And so Orlando actually taking a 3-point lead into the 4th quarter, trying to stay alive.
Orlando, man, they got that beast. They got a bright future.
Pistons had a 13-0 run in the 4th quarter there.
This guy played great, man, the last 2 games.
Stuckey,
he really played under control.
And it came close because Tayshaun and Rip Hamilton were fantastic also.
You know what this reminds me of? A couple years ago when Rick Carlisle pulled Tayshaun Prince off the bench because of injury, and he wasn't playing all year, and all of a sudden you find out this guy's a starter in this league. I don't know if Stuckey's a starter, but he's...
What kind of party is it, Kenny? Who's invited?
Oh, everybody.
So Tayshaun Prince goes up here and protects the three-point lead.
What a block.
Especially Hito Turkoglu was invited to that party.
And he showed up early. 91-86. Rip Hamilton at 31, and you see the key there. 16 out of 16 from the foul line. He's only 7 out of 20 from the field, but as Dick Versace, our old buddy, used to say, the foul line, the NBA's hidden way to score, and he got it done tonight. Here's a stat for you.
Why is that hidden?
Because people don't think about it. Hey, here's a stat for you. The Magic.
Hey, that's why Dick didn't last long.
Hey, the Magic. The Magic, 76 turnovers and 76 assists in the series. That's not a good ratio. 3-point game, San Antonio.
That's a push, Artie.
It better be better than a push. Welcome back to the T-Mobile Halftime Report. Here's the menu for Wednesday night. Game 5.
Avery Johnson in the studio.
Cavs and Celtics, Jazz and the Lakers. Yes, indeed.
Hey,
the 2-2 series.
And he got the coach? Oh, he's not a coach. Oh, I can't joke now.
You ain't right.
He got nothing else to do.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to see you, Avery.
You ain't right.
Don't feel it now. You can't feel it now. Don't feel it now. Don't feel it now. Don't feel it now. You can't feel it now. Down in Louisiana, where we all come from, everybody partying, everybody having fun, everybody dancing, burning up the floor, everybody doing it out of cool. Now don't feel it now. Don't feel it now.
It is a matchup of the number 2 and number 3 seeds in the West. Game 5 of this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal series. The series even at 2 coming into tonight's a 3-point lead as we head to the second half with the Spurs on top 47-44. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, Craig Sager, and Reggie, it has been a very physical game once again with Tony Parker in the first half, I'd have to say, getting the worst of it.
Well, head coach Byron Scott is trying to wear down Tony Parker. You got to understand, in Game 3, 42 points in the paint. Game 4, 40 points in the paint. Tonight, only 10 points. And where does that? It's the head of the snake, Tony Parker. He gets the back screen right there, kind of gets kneed. Ball slips out of his hands by Peja Stojakovic, and then goes baseline and kind of clothesline by Bonzi Wells, telling the official, I got hit in the face. And then when he is driving into the lane, they're making sure they're putting bodies on Tony Parker to try to wear him down.
All right, a look at tonight's Dodge game summary. San Antonio at 40%, 15 of 37. And the New Orleans Hornets also at, a shade over 40, make it 41 at 15 for 37. The difference, 3-point shooting, Spurs 6 of 9 from downtown. Only 6 turnovers committed by the Spurs, 4 by the Hornets. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Spurs coach Greg Popovich has calmed down since his technical between the first and second quarters. He said it was rough out there. There were a lot of fouls. He goes, but we committed too many stupid fouls. 5 times we fouled their shooters. That led to 10 points. As for David West scoring 10 of their field goals, he goes, hey, we're doing a good job on everybody else. Somebody's got to score, otherwise the score would be 12-8.
Good point. David West, 10 of 14, 22 points, the high man of the game. Chris Paul just 1 of 6 from the field, does have 8 assists. Here is West opening up the second half. Now the Hornets trailed at halftime in games 1 and 2 here in New Orleans, yet they won those games by 19 and 18, coming up with huge third quarters, outscoring San Antonio by an average of 31-12 as Tim Duncan slams it through. That's his third field goal. He has 6 points. A different story, though, at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, where the Spurs took command in third quarters in games 3 and 4. West draws the foul.
And Alberto is going to have to do a better job of trying to get to David West early when he's going to that block. Right there, he's just a little bit behind him. West does a good job of bodying into Alberto, drawing the foul.
And that's foul number 3 on Fabricio Alberto. 3 apiece on Alberto and Thomas. Ori has 4. As for the Hornets, 3 on Peterson, 3 on Eli, 3 on Wells. Chandler with 2.
Right now, David West is on his way to a career playoff high, which he got 30 in game 1. But I agree with Charles. Who else is going to come along for the ride? Right now, Chris Paul is only 1 of 6 points. No one else above that. Pagier's struggling from the field because Bowen is all over him. He can get as many points as he wants, but he needs a little help out here.
San Antonio up by 1. Shot clock to 5. Parker for 3. And that's an excellent defensive sequence by the Hornets.
Well, you did a good job of doubling, and you've got the ball to the right player to take the outside shot in Tony Parker.
And West called for the offensive foul, turning back and shoving Alberto.
Yeah, he cleared him out right there. And we do know that Alberto likes to act, but you cannot extend that forearm right here, trying to get the position right there, and just kind of clears him out with that right forearm.
Second foul committed by West. Single coverage on Duncan, who spins, does not get the roll. West played very well by Alberto. Parker open. Alberto able to get to it. They have the new clock.
Can give this offense second shot opportunities.
Ginobili not able to hit from downtown. As we mentioned earlier, Byron Scott says the Hornets have to treat tonight's Game 5 as a Game 7. If they lose tonight, they face possible elimination Thursday night back in San Antonio. Here's Paul with the runner. The Hornets have taken a 1-point lead as their first lead since back in the first quarter when they were up 13-11. Alberto. Duncan with the follow.
And they're wondering, where's the over the back on Tim Duncan against Tyson Chandler?
San Antonio back to a 1-point lead. West slapped away and fouled.
And I'm wondering, too, if I'm Tyson Chandler, what do I have to do to get a foul on Tim Duncan going over the back right here? I have him boxed out. He's on my back. Some kind of way Tim Duncan keeps the ball alive and puts it back in.
Reach and foul on Alberto. That's his 4th foul. And West to the line at 85% free throw shooter. Well, this June, step inside one very funny house. Don't miss all new episodes of Tyler Perry's House of Pain. It all starts this June only on TBS.
Very funny. That was Dwayne Wade that came over here and gave us both some dap. Charles Barkley's buddy.
Dwayne's not leaving, is he?
No, he's going to his seat. When I work with a Hall of Fame guy like yourself,
right?
I like how the celebrities come over and give you dap. I like that.
It was all
way to bring them over here.
Right. Thank you, Rick. Hornets up 52-51. Knocked away from Duncan. You see, Stojakovic was not allowed the shot. He thought he had the space for a moment, but Bowen was able to recover. Paul shoots for 3. Yes. Chris Paul with a 3-point shot. The Hornets have taken a 55-51 lead. Nice move by Duncan, and then rechecked it by Chandler. Paul, oh, what a move. Could not finish. Paul saves it to Chandler. Stojakovic for 3. Ginobili with the rebound. Stolen. Paul with the steal. And now West is fouled.
And this is the intensity and the level that the Hornets need to play at if they're going to be playing and be in this series against the defending champions. You gotta love Chris Paul. He does a series of moves that doesn't go. Tyson Chandler does a good job of keeping the ball alive.
Foul was called on Ginobili, and now Parker called for a reach-in, so the Spurs piling up the fouls early in this third quarter. That's their fourth team foul.
7:34 of bonus for the Hornets. Be aggressive, get into the lane, and try to get some easy ones from the free throw line.
Rick Popovich telling us earlier he wants the Spurs to continue to have the appropriate fear of the Hornets. Looked like they were about to pull away, but the Hornets have come right back, and they've been led by All-Star Chris Paul. He now has 13 points and 11-2 run by the Hornets.
Welcome back to New Orleans, where the Hornets have gone on a 13-4 run to open the third quarter. They lead by 6. The New Orleans Hornets care about the community. Doing his part to support education in the city, Tyson Chandler continued his rebound-to-rebound program this season by personally donating $10 for each of his 928 regular season rebounds to Hoops for Homes, a commitment he is continuing in the playoffs. The program funds the rebuilding of homes for teachers who were forced to leave following Hurricane Katrina. The NBA, where caring happens.
All right, thank you, Craig. Tyson Chandler finished 4th in the league in rebounding, led the NBA in offensive rebounds. His Hornets up by 6. They've outscored the Spurs in this third quarter, 13-4. Another San Antonio turnover. Here comes Stojakovic, met by Ginobili. Looking to post up. Rebounded by Duncan.
And good defense there by Ginobili, bodying Peja.
On a switch, West moves over to Ginobili. Shot clock down to 5. Parker, rebound Duncan. And they have the new 24. Here's Paul on the double. Once again, a San Antonio turnover.
Well, that was a bad decision by Tony Parker. He had Bruce Bowen wide open in that short corner.
Paul got the step and was pushed by Bowen. And Paul will head to the line with the Spurs over the limit. Second foul on Bowen. Chris Paul, a major factor in this third quarter surge after starting out 1 of 6. He's hit 3 of his last 4. He's 4 of 5 at the line. Well, Major League Baseball action returns to TBS this Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Prince Fielder and his Brewers taking on David Ortiz and the Red Sox. Chip Carey and Ron Darling will have all the action on Sunday at 1:30 on TBS. Hornets have their biggest lead. They're up by 8. We're halfway through the third quarter. Spurs are having difficulty locating shots.
Well, their offense has become very stagnant, and they're looking around, looking for Tim Duncan or Tony Parker to do something.
Thomas comes up short. Thomas had it knocked aside. It's a 24-second violation.
And this is the defense that Byron Scott was hoping to see for 48 minutes, but it's really started in this third period.
Spurs have been outscored 15-4 here in the third. San Antonio committing 4 turnovers here at the halfway mark of this third quarter. There's a casual pass attempted by Stojakovic that was batted out by Thomas. And now here's Robert Horry coming on for Kurt Thomas.
Well, Greg Popovich is trying to find a spark offensively. Thomas has struggled really in this series. Now you bring in and spread the floor a player like Robert Horry.
Here's Paul with the alley-oop. That's the first successful lob between Paul and Chandler the last 3 games.
Yeah, game 2 was the last time they actually looked for one another in that.
And that gets the crowd going. And that's a kick ball. How about this third quarter once again for the Hornets? They've outscored the Spurs 17-4.
And it's Robert Horry who just checked in, probably missed an assignment right there. Chris Paul gets into the lane, just throws it to the rim. Nice finish by Chandler.
Ginobili. Rebounded by Peterson. San Antonio just one of its last 10 from the field. West played by Horry. Peterson, yes, from downtown, and the onslaught continues.
Role players making differences in the game for the Hornets.
Here's the double on Duncan. Ginobili. Crowd wanted to travel. Shot clock to 5. Parker gives it to Ginobili. Shoots a long 3 and hits at the shot clock buzzer.
Spurs have to find a rhythm out here and a balance. Ginobili stops the bleeding for the Spurs.
But the Spurs have been outscored 20-7 in the third quarter. Once again, the Hornets taking charge here at home in the third. That's the story in games 1 and 2. Paul for 3. Hit one earlier. Rebounded by Duncan.
Where's all this Tony Parker getting into the lane? The non-existence in this game tonight.
And where's the ball movement that we saw in games 3 and 4? And at times in the first half, Duncan thought he was fouled.
And what I like about that, no double team.
Paul kicks it out. Peterson hits the 3, but the basket will not count. A foul was called before the shot. Foul on Parker. So Paul to the line.
Well, we spoke about this at the top of the show. Chandler only has 2 fouls. I think now with a 10-point cushion, is Byron Scott going to allow him to play Tim Duncan one-on-one, not double down? That will help with none of these rotations and running out and giving the Spurs wide open threes.
Well, in contrast to the way the Hornets played in games 3 and 4 in San Antonio, where Byron Scott was very upset with the defensive play. It's been a different story here tonight.
Well, they're really moving their feet, and it seems like they're in sync. They're on a string. They're talking to one another.
Ime Udoka has come back on for the Spurs. Duncan is fouled. That's 3 on Chandler. It is a non-shooting foul, and for the Hornets, just their first team foul. Spurs have been over the limit for most of this third quarter. Nice pass. Udoka rejected by West. That's his third block shot.
Nice weak side help by David West. He was guarding Tim Duncan. He saw that Udoka had a wide open layup and came over.
Good ball movement by the Hornets. Peterson, yes! Oh, Peterson shooting the ball very well. 4 of 8 from the field, 12 points. That's his 4th three-pointer. Parker. West with the rebound. A 14-point lead for the Hornets. West. Chandler missed the tip. Rebounded by Duncan. The long outlet handled by Parker. He's on the move, and he scores.
Well, that was a nice outlet there by Tim Duncan. Looking ahead, he saw that he had a streaking Tony Parker on the sideline.
Duncan with 17 rebounds, but his team is down by 12 with under 2 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Paul got the step, and he's fouled. But Paul is headed back to the line. Foul committed by Parker, his third. It has been all New Orleans. A 24-9 advantage in the third.
Come on, guys. Hey, get a basket right here. Come on, it's on. Hey, get back to the third quarters like we did the first 2 games. Let's get up and down. Let's go.
Hornets on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hornets.
Well, to this point, it's Hornets 24, Spurs 9 in the third quarter. And as we touched on right at the start of the third, over the first 2 games here in the Big Easy, the Hornets outscoring the Spurs by an average of 31-12 in the third quarter, and the Spurs able to turn that around in games 3 and 4 back in San Antonio.
Well, it really seemed to me that Chris Paul came out with a different focus and mentality, and that's really what Byron Scott has been preaching that he did not see in games 3 and 4 from his ball club. Right here in this third quarter, he comes out, gets everyone involved, but aggressive more so offensively for the Hornets.
Paul started out 1 of 6 in the first half, and he's been providing the spark. 16 points, 10 assists now for Paul. Another double-double and counting, and has not committed a turnover. And that's been his game. His decision-making is unique.
Yes, it is. I'm almost calling him pocket magic. The real magic's in the studio tonight. Right. This guy is pocket magic. Makes all the right decisions. He just happens to be 7 or 8 inches smaller than the real Magic Johnson.
Paul has scored 12 of his 17 here in the third. Hornets by 14. Minute and a half left in the quarter. Parker with the spin, had nowhere to go, but drew the foul. Doc Paul, that's his second.
That was a rare drive by Tony Parker here in this game.
It's a non-shooting foul, but the next puts the Hornets over the foul limit.
Well, we don't know if all those licks might have took its toll on Tony Parker.
Well, Parker knocks it down. You have Tony taking some shots in the first half. Parker, 4 of 10. He has 12 points, 3 assists. So thus far, low-key performance. Another lob, and Chandler fouled by Udoka. So Paul and Chandler able to connect just moments ago, and they tried it again.
Well, look at the nice little spin right here by Tyson Chandler. And this is all timing. This is 2 players knowing one another. Chris Paul threw it perfect right up there to the square. But it's a good foul sending Tyson Chandler to the free throw line.
Tyson Chandler, who did not attempt a shot in 24 minutes of play in game 4 in San Antonio. Just a 59% free throw shooter during the regular season. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow here on TNT. Game 5, Cavs and Celtics, followed by Game 5 between the Jazz and the Lakers. But the Hornets able to maintain possession. Thursday on ESPN, Game 6 of this series, Hornets and Spurs. And ABC continues its coverage Sunday, May 18th. Coleman on a switch by Duncan. West with the shot clock running down. That will count on a foul. There are all kinds of mismatches on the floor in the favor of the Hornets. And West able to take advantage as Parker collects his 4th.
Well, on the pick and roll with West and Paul, they got the switch. And right here, these 2 players really in this second half, the energy and the spark that Byron Scott is looking for his team.
David West now has 30 points, which equals his playoff career high. Had 30 in game 1. Here's Finley for 3. Rebounded by Peterson. 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. See Paul directing traffic. West comes over for setting the screen. Paul not able to score. It's tipped, missed by Chandler. West had an opportunity. Udoka is on it. Time running down. Finley for a deep three-point attempt. And that's the end of the third quarter. The Hornets outscore the Spurs 28-11 in the third. San Antonio just 5 of 19 from the field, and they turned it over 4 times. The end result, the Hornets by 14. A look at Bourbon Street in downtown New Orleans as we welcome you back. Time now for the Coach's Corner presented by House of Pain on TBS. Here's Craig Sager with Byron Scott.
Well, Coach, I know what it is about the Hornets in the third quarter at home, but you must give a heck of a halftime speech. What was your message tonight?
Well, I like to take credit for it, Craig, but I can't. I tell you what, our guys make great adjustments at halftime. They understand how the game is going. And all I said is just come out and quit making the mental mistakes on the defensive end and be a little bit more aggressive.
Did you agree with Charles and Reggie that David West can't do this thing alone, but somebody has to step up? Obviously, it was Chris Paul.
Yeah, we said at halftime that David had carried the load. We were only down by 3, and it's time for the little fella to step it up. And he knew that in the third quarter he was going to come out big.
That's why we're number 3. Thank you,
Craig making the point apparently as Alberto scores on a nice pass from Ginobili. Chris Paul wears number 3, indicating the success in the third quarter, and that it has been again for the Hornets, who outscore the Spurs 28-11. West, an off-balance shot, rebounded by Udoka.
Well, you also got to give a little bit of credit to Morris Peterson as well. Hit 2 big threes for the Hornets, too.
Ginobili forced into a difficult shot. Paul and Peterson are at the guards. Here's Paul getting it to Chandler. That started out looking as if it was a teardrop, but he and Chandler have such great communication, and Chandler was breaking to the rim.
No, that was definitely a pass. Like I said, that's communication between 2 players that are on the same page.
Brent Barry is on the floor. Barry, Ginobili at the guards. Finley is open for 3. The threes are not falling now for the Spurs. They shot the ball well from downtown in the first half. Chandler, played by Finley. Paul given the room, being tempted to take the shot. Back tap by Chandler.
And you see the smaller lineup out here for the Spurs. Finley's going to have to guard David West or Tyson Chandler. Offensive capabilities for the Hornets.
So the Hornets able to take advantage of the mismatch. That's 32 for West. That's a new playoff career high. Udoka for 3. And Greg Popovich trying to get back into this game with his 3-point shooters out there. It's Brent Barry, Michael Finley, Ime Udoka, Manu Ginobili, and their big man is Fabricio Oberto. Oberto is on West.
If I'm Tyson Chandler, I'm going to the offensive glass every single time.
Here's West. He has been unstoppable. 34 points. He's hit on 14 of 22, and Greg Popovich wants to talk it over.
And David West has been fantastic all night, and I'm wondering, how is his back? Right here, he does a nice move on Oberto, but look afterwards, you see the little grimace.
Take a look at tonight's Fresh Faces presented by Wendy's. Now, earlier this evening, 22-year-old rookie Rodney Stuckey, filling in for the injured Chauncey Billups, came up with a terrific performance. 15 points, 6 assists, did not turn it over at all in the Pistons' 91-86 win over the Magic. That gave Detroit the series in 5, a 6th straight Eastern Conference Finals appearance coming up for Flip Saunders and his Pistons, and they await the winner of Boston and Cleveland. The high point man was Rip Hamilton. He had 31 points. How about 16 of 16 at the line? And a big game for Antonio McDyess. 17 points, 11 rebounds.
Well, back-to-back 30-point games for Rip Hamilton, but what about the rest now for Chauncey Billups waiting in the winner of that Boston-Cleveland series?
Ginobili trying to go glass as Chandler punched it out to Paul. A loose ball foul is called on the Spurs, and that's 5 on Alberto. Let's go over to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, obviously David West is having a terrific night tonight. However, he did what he says is pinch a nerve in his back. He's favoring it a little bit even as he runs. It's on the left-hand side. During that timeout, Terry Kaufler, the athletic trainer, put a heat pad on it. He said he was all right, but he was favoring it a bit.
Trainers and coaches always say their players are all right.
Well, he's loosed up. He's loose and he's out there, so it's still pretty warmed up. That's why he still continues to play.
Stojakovic having such difficulty unleashing shots. Here's Ginobili going around West and scores. And Tyson Chandler away from the play is shaken up. He fell. And now play is stopped as Byron Scott was concerned. A foul was called on Ginobili, his second.
And this is the last thing that Byron Scott needs is for another Hornet to be injured. And you didn't know if he tripped on Udoka's foot or twisted his ankle right there or bumped knees. But as soon as Udoka passed, they crossed paths, he went down.
Hornets athletic trainer Terry Kaufler out. Take a look as you hear the chant of Tyson from this capacity crowd, but of an 18,000 here at the New Orleans Arena, and Chandler being helped off.
Well, remember, this is the one man that really can guard Tim Duncan. If you need assistance to get to the bench, that's not a good look.
Hornets have a 13-point lead. Able to take command on that 28-11 advantage in the third quarter.
And you see, as they're both running down, and it kind of looks like that left ankle kind of nips the heel of Ime Udoka.
All right, Craig will have a report momentarily.
He's busy tonight.
Paul getting the step. Barry reaching out, called for the foul. And now Tim Duncan will check back in as Greg Popovich hopes to take advantage with Chandler on the bench. Tony Parker returns, replacing Alberto and Ginobili. Byron Scott has Paul and Pargo at the guards. West, Stojakovic, and Peterson up front.
This is going to force David West to guard Tim Duncan as well.
Duncan is on it. Parker being played by Pargo. Here's Barry from the angle for three. Stojakovic should have let it go, but
he wanted the rebound.
Fortunately, able to save it, yes. Looking to the statue.
Yes.
Pargo for three. Shade over 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. Barry on the drive. That will count. And the foul. So Brent Barry, who missed nearly 9 weeks after tearing a muscle in his left calf in late January, came back for the final 3 games of the regular season. Played limited minutes in the series against Phoenix. The same for this series against New Orleans. But Greg Popovich going for the smaller lineup has Barry out there here in the fourth quarter.
Well, you're trying to get some instant offense from your bench right here. Now you close it to within 10 with a little bit under 8 minutes left in this game.
At the first free throw for the Spurs in the second half. Hornets living at the line in the third quarter with San Antonio going over the limit early.
They're trying to get Pazier going a little bit. A series of screens and post-ups.
There's Paul trying to bank it. Rebound Duncan. Tim Duncan with 20 rebounds. Parker off the penetration was rejected. Back comes Paul. Nice ball movement. Stojakovic with his first clear look in 2 games hits the three.
And where does it come from? In transition. No Bruce Bowen out there on the floor. You cannot lose Peja in the open court.
How about the Hornets with 21 assists and only 5 turnovers? Parker under pressure. 16 points for Parker.
How big was that three? Almost a 5-point swing. San Antonio misses the shot at one end and a big three to take the lead to 13.
6.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Hornets looking to go up 3-2 in this series. West, oh, what a shot. West, who is hobbling back up court, able to go to the reverse on Duncan. He has 36 points. Duncan rejected by West. That's 5 block shots for David West. Pargo right back. The Hornets up by 15. David West, 36 points, 14 rebounds. He is having a career night. 14 rebounds, a playoff career high. Duncan right back with a slam. But Duncan 10 points, 21 rebounds. A franchise record for the Hornets for points scored in a playoff game. This goes back to their days in Charlotte. Pargo, rebound Duncan. Glenn Rice put up 39 for Charlotte against the Knicks back in April of '97. Beautiful move by Parker. He thought he was fouled, but does not get the call. It's 85-74 Hornets as we come up on 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
You might as well milk this pick and roll with Chris Paul and David West. See if you can get a switch.
Offensive foul. And that's the first Hornet turnover in 17 minutes. David West with a memorable night. All right, Reggie, time now for the Marines teamwork play of the game.
Well, a lot isn't always asked of Tyson Chandler, but his 2 field goals tonight have come from the hands of that man, Chris Paul. If you're going to set the good pick and roll, you've got to lob and just throw it to the basket. And right here, people think that Chris Paul's going to take a shot. No, let me just throw it to the rim and let my big fella finish it.
Let's go to Craig.
Well, Tyson Chandler complained of a sharp pain on the top of his left foot. And right now, I've just got the official word. It is a bruised foot. He put ice on it. He took the shoe off, of course. He tried to go back into the game. He actually told coach he felt all right. However, athletic trainer Terry Kaufler made him stand on the sidelines and do a couple exercises, put pressure on the foot. He could not do it without pain. So Terry Kaufler then told Byron Scott he did not think that he should go back into the game. So he's questionable, doubtful right now is the latest word, with a bruised left foot.
All right, thank you, Craig. Foul on Gennaro Pargo. Here's Udoka for 3. Ime Udoka with his 3rd from downtown, so it's down to an 8-point Hornet lead. Plenty of time left. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to go.
And they're going to have to double team Tim Duncan with David West guarding him, so they're going to get a lot of wide open looks, the Spurs are.
Shot clock down to 5. Here's Paul on the penetration. 20 points for Chris Paul. Ginobili for 3. Rebounded by Udoka and stolen by Stojakovic.
You can't lose that ball if you're Udoka.
Here's Paul putting the speed on. You can see the acceleration as he hit the paint, and he was tripped up.
Tony Parker has lived on the floor for this game.
Parker just committed number 5. Team foul number 4 committed by the Spurs. The Hornets with just 2. It is a non-shooting foul. Game 6 of this best of 7 in San Antonio Thursday night. Game 7, if necessary, back here in New Orleans a week. Make that next Monday night. Peterson with the step. Rebound Duncan. 21 rebounds for Tim Duncan. That's a season high for Duncan. Parker, oh, he's frustrated. Could not get the shot off, but he did draw the foul.
Well, there's plenty of time here for the Spurs. They can't panic, and Tony Parker does a good job of putting his head down and trying to get into the lane. Got fouled going to the free throw line.
Foul on Peterson. So 2 shots for Parker. Has hit 3 of 3 at the stripe. Well, parenting isn't easy. Watching TV's Funniest Family is. This June, The Bill Engvall Show is back. You can catch all new episodes of the family comedy June 12th at 9 only on TBS.
Very funny. Not those free throws wasn't very funny for the Spurs. 2 critical misses.
Hornets in possession. They lead by 10, seeking to take a 3-2 lead on the defending NBA champions. Here's Paul with 1 on the shot clock.
And David West is doing a little bit of everything right there. Shot clock running down. He finds a wide open Chris Paul for the lay-in.
San Antonio takes a timeout. The Hornets turning it in the 3rd quarter. It was a 3-point San Antonio lead at halftime. It's been a combination of David West and Chris Paul. It is a 12-point New Orleans lead as they have bounced back after the 20-point blowout in Game 4 Sunday night in San Antonio. And people were saying, hey, don't you, including members of our crew, don't you think that type of game might break the spirit of the Hornets? And we talked about it in the 4th quarter the other night, that usually from game to game does not have an effect, but perhaps this game could have an effect. As it turns out, it did not.
Well, remember we spoke with head coach Byron Scott before the game. You've been in plenty of Big 5. Huge Big 5 games, and he was like, my team has no clue how big this game is tonight.
Udoka. And the ball will go back to the Hornets. David West putting up enormous numbers, 36 points, and he did it right from the start.
Yes.
15 of 23 from the field, 14 rebounds. Playoff career high for points and rebounds. Also has 5 assists. He looks a little gimpy, though. He did hurt his back earlier, and he's been hobbling this 4th quarter, but he has been able to hang in. He also has 5 blocked shots. Here's Paul off the dribble. Paul with the rebound. And now we'll play the clock.
How smart is that? Easily could have went back up, but let's take it back out and run some time off the clock.
A very strong second half for Paul. He has 22 points, 13 assists in all. West is open. Rebounded by Ginobili, and a foul. Foul is on Ginobili, coming in contact with Pargo. And now the Hornets call for time with 2:20 left in the 4th. We'll be back to the Crescent City in a moment.
He's quiet, and the motors are kind of running. He's thinking about the next game. He knows he didn't play well. He's one of those guys, obviously, we got to go to him. We got to get him started going early. But he has allowed, Kurt and Alberto to frustrate him a little bit. And he just has to play. Again, this is a situation he hasn't been in as well. He's learning from it. He's going to grow from it. He's going to get better from it.
And David West was so upset with his play and his teammates' play in Game 4 in San Antonio. He said, I don't think we even tried in Game 4. That might have been an overstatement. He was, as I said, very, very upset, but he has bounced back in a big way here tonight.
And he really didn't want to call anyone out by name on his team. He was throwing everyone out there saying, we really didn't try, but you've got to applaud what he did because it came from the start, too. You know, he got them off to a quick start where everyone else, Paul, Peja, had been struggling, and then they picked it up in the second half. But especially, we don't know the bench nerve and the way he's running right now, how he's going to react for Game 6.
6 straight points for the Hornets. Damon Stoudemire has come on for the first time. Loops the pass to Alberto. Try to get it to Duncan. Well, Greg Popovich has emptied his bench. Here's Jacques Vaughn. Here's Damon Stoudemire. Brent Barry, Ime Udoka, and Fabricio Alberto remain on the floor. West, yes.
Why not?
38 points for West. Adding to that playoff career high, he is 1 shy of the Hornet franchise record. 39 scored by Glenn Rice in a playoff game back in April of 97. But Byron Scott may be making some changes right here as Chris Paul and David West will sit down, and you can see athletic trainer Terry Koffler checking out the lower back of David West.
And that's the first thing he should do is put a few bags of ice on there. It's stretching and a lot of Advil for overnight. And you see Tim Duncan, who had a great night rebounding-wise, 23 points, but only 5 of 18, 10 points coming off that Game 4, 22 points and 15 rebounds.
Brent Barry being sent to the line and trying to find out what the call was. Misses the free throw. Apparently an away from the ball foul, but he would normally not be the guy that you would want to foul. He did miss the free throw.
Hackleberry.
Here's Vaughn. And Barry shoots a 3. Mike James, who just came on with the rebound. Byron Scott making changes. Armstrong is back. Ryan Bowen appears for the first time. Julian Wright played briefly earlier. Back on the floor. Here's Pargo for 3. Off balance from downtown. Gennaro Pargo with 8 points. 96-77. You know, you look at this series, and the Hornets are going to make it 3 games to 2. Obviously, Barry way off, but all 5 games have been, well, fun to broadcast. They've been entertaining, but they've all been decisive. Basically, they've all been routes.
They've all been routes, and if there's one constant thing, it's been the third quarter for every game. Whoever's come out with that intensity in the third quarter has pretty much gone on to win the game.
Final minute. Pargo is hit by Vaughn. Let's go back to some of the points that you made at the start of the telecast as to what Byron Scott and his Hornets have to do to come up with a victory.
Well, Peja did not have a great shooting night, only 9 points. They're going to have to find a way to get him going in Game 6. But look at all the hustle things. 8 steals for the Hornets, 8 blocks, 5 of those coming from David West, and moved the basketball. 24 assists.
So you were 2 for 3, which is 67%.
And for all our viewers who are playing along at home, bees live in hives, whereas hornets live in nests. Just in case I don't want them to think I was, yes, I did go to UCLA. You weren't even questioning that. What about the hive? No, bees live in hives. Hornets live in nests.
As I've mentioned in the past, your information is not only informative, as Stoudemire hits, but education.
Thank you. I'm here for the people.
Down to a half minute to play. This was an 85-77 game. San Antonio with an 8 with just under 5 remaining, and the Hornets on a 13-2 run since to put it away. And they will take a 3 games to 2 lead. Mike James from downtown. And in the conference semifinal series, the home team with this victory here by New Orleans, has won 17 of 18. The Detroit win earlier over Orlando, a rapid in 5. And the win here by the Hornets, who knock off the defending NBA champion Spurs, who now will have the pressure on back home in Game 6 on Thursday night. Quick rundown of the scoring. David West, a career game, all playoff career highs, 38 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, 5 assists. He shoots 16 of 25. Chris Paul comes on strong in the second half. 16 of his 22 in the second half, along with 14 assists. Manu Ginobili, the high man for San Antonio. Tony Parker with 18, did not shoot well. Tim Duncan with 23 rebounds, which is a season high, but shot only 5 of 18 for the field. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, David, just a terrific night tonight, but you committed a foul away from the ball to start icing your back. You're only 1 point away from the all-time franchise record from Glenn Rice. Did you know that?
No. I was just happy we had control of the game, and I was ready to sit down.
How is your back, and how concerned are you for Game 6?
I just got to make sure I get a good day of treatment tomorrow. It got pretty stiff there in the second quarter, and it never really loosened back up. But I should be all right with tomorrow. Tomorrow have a good day of rest, a lot of treatment, and that should be okay.
You were so disappointed after the loss in Game 4. I was at practice yesterday doing look ahead. You didn't talk to anybody. You're kind of grumpy, surly. Why are you so different here at home?
I don't know. This game, we had to treat this like a Game 7 because there was no way we wanted to go back to San Antonio. With them having an opportunity to close us out down there. We just wanted to make sure we took care of home. And obviously, it's disappointing with the way I played, the Game 4 down there. Just wanted to come back with a stronger effort.
It was a career playoff night for you. But you carried this team in the first half all by yourself, on your back. That could be why your back is so sore right now.
I don't know about that. I think the biggest thing was just to come out with that aggressive mentality. I thought we attacked them defensively. Really made them, get out of their comfort zone. Duncan, we made him uncomfortable all night, and it worked to our advantage.
Thanks a lot. Look forward to you in Game 6. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Craig. It was a 28-11 advantage for the Hornets in the third quarter. That turned the game around after San Antonio led by 3 at the half. That's been the pattern here in New Orleans. It's a 3-2 lead for the Hornets. Game 6 in San Antonio Thursday night. And if necessary, Game 7 back here in New Orleans next Monday. How about the Hornets? Only 6 turnovers, and that ties a New Orleans franchise record low for a playoff game. So again, the final score, the Hornets 101 and the Spurs 79. Thanks to our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renardo Lowe, and our statistician, Brian Taylor. For Craig Sager and Richie Miller, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from the Big Easy. We now take you to our studio in Atlanta. Let's